Okay, time for a new video, and whether you are somebody new to my channel or you are returning to my channel to watch this video, it is greatly appreciated. As always, I'm filming this video in one go, so if I stumble over my words moving forwards, apologies about that, and also apologies if the quality of this video is fairly poor as well. If there's any lag, anything like that at all, sadly it can't be helped, and hopefully it's not too much of an issue for you. This is yet another Eurovision 2025 related video here on my channel, and a rather impromptu video, it must be said. I have no idea if this is going to be a particularly long video. I've no idea if I'm even going to keep it online for that long, but there's been some notable news in the world of Eurovision announced just a short time ago, and it regards the Netherlands, who have confirmed that they will take part in next year's Eurovision Song Contest in Basel, Switzerland. Now I have the Avrotros website loaded up here, and I've translated the article into English. I'm going to go through it. You might have seen this by now anyway, but it says right here that Avrotros to participate in the Eurovision Song Contest 2025. After months of discussions and consultations, the broadcaster has received sufficient guarantees from the EBU that structural changes will be implemented at the music festival. Joost Klein was offered the opportunity to participate again, but in the end he chose to decline this offer. Really, the reason why I'm filming this video is to see what your opinions are on this, because I know some people very much wanted the Netherlands to take part next year, including myself. So I'm very happy about this decision, and I expected this decision, I really did. I didn't think for 1 minute that the Netherlands were going to withdraw. However, some Eurovision fans wanted the Netherlands to withdraw from next year's event and maybe come back in 2026 in order to make a bit of a statement and say to the EBU that the behaviour of a delegation or two behind the scenes in Malmö earlier this year was completely unacceptable, and also as a sort of protest regarding Joost Klein's disqualification, which I'll get onto more in just a moment. It says right here, registration for new songs for next year is now open, so if you are a Dutch musician, throw your name into the ring, if you know what I mean. It says right here, Avrotros, together with other countries, which are not named here, has pushed for structural changes in front of and behind the scenes of the Eurovision Song Contest, during and immediately after the edition in Malmö. The broadcaster is satisfied with the package of measures that is now in place and looks positively to the future. Concrete changes have been implemented, such as appointing a safety manager in the artist environment, severely reducing behind-the-scenes filming. That's a very interesting point, because we do get quite a bit of behind-the-scenes content. I remember Krista Siegfrieds, I think it was, a few years ago in Rotterdam. I think she was there and she was filming stuff backstage and all of that stuff in the green room or whatever it was. I can't quite recall. Now, I suppose things like that are agreed with the artists prior to them even arriving in the host city. But I do wonder now if we are going to get significantly less backstage footage, and how will that impact journalists who like to maybe bring on some of the artists to their live streams or things like that. I've no idea, I'm just thinking out loud here. It says here that there will be a safe space for artists behind the scenes where they will not be disturbed. There should be a place like that anyway? Really? But it is what it is. A crisis team consisting of representatives of the EBU, participating countries and the organising broadcaster, so that important decisions are taken democratically, and the appointment of Martin Green, who definitely knows what he's doing, as new Eurovision director to oversee these changes. Lovely stuff. Avrotros will continue to monitor this process closely, but is hopeful and has confidence in the renewal of Europe's largest music festival. So I guess we just wait and see what happens next year. Then it goes on to say that artists, composers, songwriters, producers and record labels are invited to submit an authentic, distinctive and competitive song. And it's open from right now until the 22nd of November at 1 minute to midnight, and you can submit via the email address that is provided. Now, what does it say here about Joost Klein? Here we go. The reason I'm reading this now is because I don't want to say anything inaccurate. It says here that Joost, as we know, was scheduled to perform in the final after qualifying from the second semi-final. And he was going to be song 5 in the final, of course, which is quite early on. However, he was barred from further rehearsals due to an incident On the day of the final, the EBU announced that he'd been disqualified. Now, if you ask me, and I think I must have said this at the time, it was a shite show, dear viewers. We can all agree it was a shite show, because it was the day of the final, for crying out loud. And if you ask me, I think the EBU made a very quick, hasty decision. I think that if this had happened days before the final, days before the second semi-final which Joost Klein was in, I don't think he would have been disqualified, because I think they would have gone through whatever procedure they go through with something like this, and this was unprecedented, admittedly, but I think they would have taken a bit more time to consider both sides, and I don't think he would have been disqualified. But it seems to me, I could be wrong, but it seems to me as though on the day of the final, because everything was all systems go, the EBU and whoever it was thought, we've got too many things to deal with here, just boot him out. That's what it feels like. It feels as though it was a very hastily made decision, and that not a lot of thought and time went into the circumstances behind the disqualification, because it was the day of the final, and there were arguably more pressing things to be dealing with. Do you see what I mean? That's what it feels like to me. Anyway, according to the Dutch broadcaster, Joost Klein was recorded by a female camera operator against his will immediately following his semi-final performance. Avrotros claims that she continued to film against clearly made agreements. The camera operator alleges that Klein had reacted to the recording by making a threatening move towards her holding a camera. The guy was peed off. The guy wasn't happy. And anybody, anywhere, who has a camera shoved in their face against their will isn't going to be particularly chuffed about it. Now, I'm not saying that Joost Klein should have reacted the way he did, but it's quite understandable for somebody to react in that way when they have a camera shoved in their face. Anyway, the details of the altercation are unclear, but the Swedish police said it would be investigating whether criminal threats were made, not whether an assault occurred. I'm sure there were plenty of witnesses to this incident. I don't know, but I'm guessing there were. Anyway, Joost Klein denied any wrongdoing through his lawyer. The EBU clarified in a statement that its decision to disqualify Klein did not involve any other performer or delegation member. Avrotros later stated that the disqualification was very heavy and disproportionate, and then the Swedish prosecution authority said the case was closed, and Joost Klein has announced a tour, which I think he's been on. He's already done it, and I think he's got another tour coming up as well. He's doing quite well for himself. However, he's not going to be back next year. Now, if you ask me, do I think he should have been disqualified? No. From what we know, which isn't the full story, it seems as though it was a very hastily made decision. If he had been physically aggressive, had he been strongly verbally aggressive, and that information was made clear to us months ago, then to be honest, I would be sitting here now saying the disqualification was fair. But it seems as though this was not a trivial incident, but an incident that was blown well out of proportion at the time. It was a very heated situation, a very heated atmosphere. You know, Eurovision is such a sort of machine process that emotions are heightened anyway. And then when you have a camera shoved in your face, you know, it's not great. So I don't think he should have been disqualified. There is a part of me that's glad he's not coming back next year, and the only reason I say that is because I think there would be a lot of generous voting in his favour, purely because of what happened this year, and that's not right in my opinion. I'd love to see him back at some point, but I'm glad it's not next year. I've got to be honest. Now, there was a statement from Joost earlier today, which I'm going to read now. I've made the decision to not participate in Eurovision 2025. My team and I had everything ready, but it just doesn't feel good. I am very thankful for all the love around the world. However, I am still affected by this year. I need to give myself more time to heal. It was my dream to do Eurovision, and we did that. For months I had this feeling that I needed to make a return to finish the job, but in reality we reached a higher goal. Europapa united a lot of people. This story is not just about me, it's about us. I'm grateful. People from all around the world are trying to learn Dutch, and this makes me very proud of my language. We achieved something previously claimed to be impossible. we used the real power of the internet. So maybe I was blinded, but now I see clear. I can see clearly now the rain. Sorry, it just made me think of that song for a moment. I have to follow the light, not fight against it. The media will be the media, but I have no place in that. I am not made for this big machine. There we go, I mentioned machine. My path is different, and I welcome anybody who would like to join this adventure. Trust the process. I believe one of my purposes in life is to connect people through music, digital art, and performance art. My tour around Europe and the USA sold out, and I can't wait to play my new album there. Let's all come together. This life is crazy, but just know I'm still standing. Better than I ever did. Da, 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 da. Anyway, that is Joost Klein's statement, which you can read online. So really, that's all this video is. It's an opportunity for me to sit here now and say that I believe he shouldn't have been disqualified earlier this year. I think it was a very hastily made decision from the EBU. I'm glad the Netherlands are back. I expected as much. But really, what do you think about this? Are you disappointed that the Netherlands will be back in Switzerland next year? Do you think they should take the year off? Are you disappointed Joost Klein isn't coming back? Do you think that he is fibbing all of us and actually he has accepted the mantle and maybe the broadcaster therefore are lying to us as well? Whatever your thoughts are, do let me know. And it will be very interesting to see if the Dutch entry next year is top quality or whether it's actually maybe not that great and all of us Eurovision fans will be sitting here saying, you know what, it's quite clear that they're not really bothered about Eurovision in 2025. Maybe they'll come back stronger in 2026. Whatever it is, I am interested to know your thoughts. But yes, I'm personally thrilled the Netherlands are back. One of my favourite countries in Eurovision, full stop. They've had so many great songs over the years. Steen in 2022, that was fantastic. Jean-Guy McCroy in 2020, the cancelled contest, his song was absolutely fabulous. We've had The Common Linnets in 2014, my favourite Eurovision song thus far. So many wonderful, wonderful efforts. And hopefully we get another good one next year. Just before I finish, I don't know whether we have any other online statements from regular folk about this. Let me take a look at this. Here we go. Okay. Joost not participating is probably the right decision for now, says ESC Hayden. I can't with the people complaining about the Netherlands competing, but they will still follow the whole ESC season and watch the shows like What? If countries were withdrawing, you'd complain about that too. Hang on a moment. I said I wanted either withdraw or Joost, so worst possible option happened. Relieved, to be honest. I am so disappointed in them for making this decision. They could have showed that the EBU's behaviour wasn't acceptable. Why couldn't they stand on business? Right outcome for everyone. Somebody has suggested Within Temptation. I'm absolutely all over that. Eurofans again ain't getting what we wanted. Glad we are in. Glad Joost was given the chance to perform. Feeling hopeful about how we can build off of our 2024 into an even better 2024 vibes-wise and results-wise. Okay. Lots of the other quotes are in languages I don't speak. I'm happy Avrotros thought of Joost first, but I'm sure he declined because he thinks it's too soon, or because he's not convinced that the structural changes that will be implemented are enough. If Avrotros is hopeful, so am I. Here's to a better year. Okay. Somebody's mentioned the boycott. That never really happened this year, to be fair, so it's not going to happen next year either. A lot of you are disappointed in the participation part. I kind of get it, but on Joost's side, he made a great decision, and Avrotros trying to do something. If we speak about making better conditions in next year's ESC, they want to see these changes making for any better. Let's wait. Cowards, somebody has said. The wording of the letter ensures the fandom and the Dutch public are going to take this awfully. Boo. Thank God I never have to interact with Yoast stands again. Yeah, I'm reading these out because it's interesting to know what people think. This is a notable bit of Eurovision 2025 news. Thanks God he refused. There we have it. Blah, blah, blah. Anouk, stay away. No backbone. A very mixed response. I'm quite happy. Others are furious. Such is the life of a Eurovision fan. And it goes on and on. As far as I'm concerned, apologies, get your stroke waffles out because the Netherlands are back. Happy days. Let me know what you think and I'll be back with more Eurovision content before you know it, including junior Eurovision content as well. Until next time, take care of yourselves, stay safe. I've no idea if I'll keep this video online for too long, but I thought that I'd film it anyway. See you soon. Take care now.